welcome to Top Class, a review of the happenings in education for the first term of the academic year 2018 to 2019. My name is Alisha Ali. I'm at the Babano Secondary School with its principal, Terence Fenelon. The school has come a long way since it opened in September 1999. The structure was incomplete at the time, and so the Babano Secondary School had to share space with the Rock Hall Senior Primary School for 6 months before officially moving to these premises in March 2000. What are some of the milestones would you consider the Babano has achieved?
Okay, let's do the academics first. When we first began in 2002, I remember I made the decision that no child at Babano Secondary would write CSEC Basic. And the registrar at the time, Mrs. Eiffel, was like, "Mr. Fuller, are you mad?" I said, "No, we are not writing Basic. Everybody's going to write our general, the bar. We have to set the bar." And with the students we inherited, we were able to get, I think, a 39.2% pass rate, which was remarkable at the time. And we continued from there to now that we are at 74. So that is a highlight for us, that we have been able to move from 39 to 74 and hoping to improve upon that. That's the academic side. Kimani Melius, under 19, and if a little later you'll see I put his picture up on the wall from the time he was in Form 3, because he had achieved, we saw the greatness, highest score by St. Lucia in any form of cricket. He has now moved on to the West Indies B team. He's doing great things. Albert Reynolds is there. And we have other students, they're doing well. So in all areas, our students are performing, and that it really fills us with joy.
So stay with us as we review Term 1 for the academic year 2018-2019. The term began with a new chapter for St. Lucia and Martinique. The two countries signed an educational cooperation agreement to develop mobility and linguistic skills.
Academic exchanges afford us the opportunity not only to immerse ourselves in a space presumably foreign to our own, but also it allows for the cross-fertilization of ideas, cultures, thinking, and the sharing of a spirit which I think is common to both of us in this case.
The aim of these cooperation projects is to broaden young people's academic and professional prospects thanks to the command of common language.
The Division of Education conducted a pre-kindergarten screening exercise to identify any development concerns with students to ensure that all children have a successful learning experience.
We're looking for any red flags that may exist on these children in terms of whether or not they have the skills expected of a child that age, so that if there are any deficits that we discover, that information is made available to the kindergarten teacher who will be receiving the students, and that teacher will then be able to give additional support to build them up in the areas of deficits that we have discovered.
Meanwhile, early childhood educators continue to receive training in developing the curricula and framework for early childhood education. This was done through a training of trainers workshop held by the Early Childhood Development Center.
The Early Childhood Development Curriculum Framework is key in providing the guidance to ensure that the students have a safe, nurturing, and healthy environment so that these children can reach their full potential. Educators would be in a better place to understand how children learn, forcing paradigm shifts and changing mindsets.
The OECS and UNICEF has partnered with the Early Childhood Services Unit to support the development of the Early Childhood Curriculum Framework. The newly launched Theatre Arts Schools Association serves to provide the necessary support and encourage the development of theatre arts.
We recognize the need for there to be an association of teachers. There are quite a few theatre arts teachers on the island. The subject is becoming more and more popular in schools. And this is a way for us to make connections with the teachers as well as with the Ministry of Education, for us to understand the objectives, for example, of the CXC syllabus, the objectives of theatre, where theatre, drama, and dance and performance are going on our island.
Stakeholders under the Smart School concept met on a redesign plan for the Miku Secondary School and to discuss the phased construction approach. The Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, DVRP, and the government of Italy will provide financial support to construct the new Miku Secondary School.
No school will be built under my watch that does not satisfy fully the rubric or the characteristics of a smart school. And by that I mean pedagogically smart, climate smart, energy smart, health and safety smart.
Minister with responsibility for education, the Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, confirmed receipt of resignation letters from the members of the board of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, SALCC, in August. An interim board said to be carefully selected on the basis of expertise and skill was established and includes Dr. Joycelyn Fletcher as the chairperson, Dr. Rufina Frederick, Miss Vanessa Neve, Mr. Barry Cochran, Dr. Claudia Louis, and Miss Beverly Josie. Team St. Lucia unveiled its submission for the 2018 Robot Olympics ahead of the first global challenge in Mexico. The robot, called Huanora, was designed and built by Anke Budu of the Viewfort Comprehensive Secondary School's A-Level Department, Dion Rekai and Tator David of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College's Division of Arts, Science and General Studies.
Although the competition this year is different, it's still the same scoring. So this year it deals with boxes, picking up boxes and then scoring them in goals. So as of now, what we have is a claw that can hold one box at a time. But the system we have now, it's a conveyor that allows us to store our boxes. So we don't need to go back and forth scoring just one box.
That is an accomplishment for me because in other countries around the world, women are not afforded opportunities to learn about STEM, robotics or programming or any of these things. Some of them don't even get to go to school. So it's a great step for St. Lucia and for the rest of the Caribbean when we see young girls like myself involved in things like this.
The acting chief education officer, Rafina Charles, issued a stern warning to school administrators who in any way would violate students under their care. The pronouncement was made at an educational planning meeting for the new academic year.
There is a zero tolerance policy against inappropriate behavior between teachers and students, and it is in full effect. I will not remain in this position and know that there is anyone, and I'm saying this, anyone who's going to take advantage of the children that we are supposed to protect.
The instructional focus meeting, as it is called, was held under the theme Changing Mindsets, ensuring that all learners succeed.
The days of adopting a wait-and-see attitude, that is over. The scale of change over the past 5 years is testimony to this fact. It has become necessary to reflect on our challenges as we begin to remodel our schools and our classrooms. But certainly this will require the change in mindset that we're talking about, where there is less dependence on rote learning, on repetitive tests, and a one-size-fits-all instruction.
School cooks were recognized for their hard work over the years and their commitment to the school feeding program. The school feeding program is a social assistance program provided by the Division of Education to infant and primary schools, where hot, nutritious meals are available to children at lunchtime for only $1. UNESCO approved funding for 3 local development projects for 2018 to 2019. The projects total over EC $180,000 or about US $67,000. The School of Art and Design St. Lucia received US $23,000 to create a publication on St. Lucian women sustaining lives and livelihoods through arts. The Associated Schools Project Network, ASPNet, received US $22,000 to help with the project entitled Sandwatch, which hopes to address climate change through education for sustainable development. The Cultural Development Foundation received US $22,000 to strengthen local capacities to safeguard St. Lucia's intangible cultural heritage.
This fund, which is open on a continuous basis, provides member states with a maximum of $100,000 US for ICH projects, and submission can be made at any time during the year.
The Babonneau Secondary School offers both academic and technical and vocational subjects. I know recently there was an overhaul of the Babonneau Secondary School. Tell me, how has the improvements been? How has it affected the mood of the teachers, the students?
Okay. Yes, well, let me say the good and the bad. I mean, we have suffered a lot in the past, the structure, the physical structure, but this has been addressed. It's unfortunate a series of events took place that were not very nice, for no fault. I'm not blaming anybody. It's no fault of anybody. It happened, but the physical environment is being addressed. The teachers now are feeling a lot better. The students, it's a healthier environment.
The issue of refurbishing schools was at the top of government's agenda for the new academic year. The government of St. Lucia invested 10 times the amount usually allocated for refurbishing schools. The annual allocation of about $1 million was deemed insufficient to address the infrastructural needs of schools on island. As such, this year the government invested $10 million to ensure the comfort of students and teachers alike ahead of the reopening of school.
Let me thank everyone who's been involved in delivering this rehabilitation program. I think across the island, the students and teachers are reasonably pleased. Admittedly, and I've said it before, $10 million only represents a quarter of what it is estimated that we would need to bring every school on island to an acceptable standard. But that injection of $10 million of course, has gone a long way to bring some relief to our teachers and our students.
The St. Mary's College RBC Young Leaders constructed a peace gazebo to sensitize the public and tackle youth violence. The gazebo is a peaceful and safe environment for students.
It was a major achievement completing this project 1 year after our timeline was over, as it contributed to the continuity aspect of our project. So we urge the upcoming young leaders and other club members to continue to embrace the movement with a view of creating a better society for us all. As I move on, I urge the upcoming young leaders to carry on the legacy set by all who preceded them.
The Peace Gazebo costed about $38,000 and was funded by Regine 6 Drying Little Tears Foundation. The Beanfield Comprehensive had, over the last year, grown incapable of enrolling any new students. Following much consultation, it was decided that an unused block of the Viewfort Primary would be renovated to accommodate the students for the new academic year. Now refurbished, the once derelict block presently houses 2 Form 1 classes and 1 Form 2 class.
We've tried to do a very good job in terms of delivering quality education at the Beanfield Comprehensive Secondary School, and our parents would like us to continue the work. That is why they were very pleased that the ministry found a solution to the situation of the lack of space so that we can continue the work that we're doing at the Beanfield Comprehensive Secondary School.
The Caribbean Examination Council, CXC, announced the reason behind its decision to make school-based assessments mandatory for most subjects at the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, level. With the new change in policy, all candidates within the school system must now provide an SBA for 2 core subjects, math and English.
Measurement specialists all agree that SBAs are an authentic way of measuring students. It gives the students an opportunity to impose their own ideas, their own thinking on the subject matter, on the assessment, and on their learning. CXC wanted to introduce SBAs for math and English for a very long time, but there was significant pushback in the past. But I think we have gotten to the stage where we have convinced our stakeholders that this is good practice.
Candidates who register to sit CXC CSEC subjects privately must sit an alternative paper in lieu of the SBAs. CXC officials say students who fail to submit their SBAs may be disqualified from sitting the exams itself. A technical diagnostic mission to gather information on training in agro-processing was conducted by a team of Colombian agro-processing specialists. The initiative was part of a South-South cooperation with Colombia to learn from its TVET training.
Where you actually set up a production line where the students can actually learn the principles and practices related to agro-processing, and they can then use these knowledge, skills, and certainly the attitudes to develop similar enterprises at their home or collectively as a cooperative or whatever. So that is how we're going to benefit. Our agro-processors now will benefit too from technical assistance, where we're going to actually have people travel from St. Lucia to Colombia to actually witness firsthand how this thing is done.
Principals of Education District 4 have been improving the quality of their practices with the hope that it will redound to the adoption of a mutual system of operation throughout the district.
This activity is very important for me as well because I am newly appointed to the position. So I want to ensure that the principals of the district know the new policies that the ministry is implementing for this year. So for example, we have the new guidelines for the management of school funds. We have the school bursary and school feeding guidelines that are also new. And so it is important for the principals and the education officer as well to be aware of the new policies.
The second annual knapsack drive was deemed a success. The program, considered a pillar of the hashtag Educate St. Lucia initiative, is aimed at ensuring that a backpack and all the supplies needed are provided to students of utmost need.
I am encouraging other persons out there, other business places, other even private citizens who may have the means to get involved and see how they can help somebody in the community who may be deprived. It is not their fault that they are deprived. They may just be unfortunate that they are going through that situation. And if we can help them, we would have done something great, and that will assist them in getting the right education.
20 brand new computers and 5 filing cabinets were handed over to the Director of Library Services at the Castries Central Library by PKF Corporate Services Managing Director Wendell Skeet. It follows an inquiry done by the accounts and business firm last year about the needs of the public library on behalf of one of its clients.
The actual money for the 20 computers and the 5 cabinets actually came from one of my clients. This is a client who is a client owner of one of St. Lucia's offshore companies and wanted to make this donation of a computer equipment to the Central Library. So I'm just in the middle, I'm just doing it on behalf of a client.
In the past, persons waited in line to use the computers. With this donation, access to computers and Wi-Fi will become much easier. The filing cabinets will contribute to the enhancement of the record-keeping efforts of the administrative departments of the public library. The public library needs external assistance in order to thrive.
The Education Quality Improvement EQUIP project is taking on a proactive, preventative, and rehabilitative posture that promotes the empowerment of at-risk children, youth, and their families. On the other hand, the Youth Empowerment Project, YEP, through an integrated approach, works towards curbing tension risk factors that can nurture antisocial behaviors at the individual, family, community, and societal levels.
These projects are also consistent with the 8th cycle of CDB's Special Development Fund. They are also aligned to CDB's strategic objective of supporting inclusive and sustainable growth and development, our corporate priority of improving the quality of and access to education, training, and citizen security, and our cross-cutting theme of gender equality.
Initially, 5 schools will benefit under the EQUIP project pilot. These include the Gordon and Walcott Memorial Methodist School, Vidbute Primary School, Laguerre Combined School, and the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Education leaders from the Eastern Caribbean region convened its 7th annual meeting in St. Lucia. The issues discussed ranged from leadership in OECS education, issues in OECS education, including issues with examinations and assessments, and key considerations for the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Education Sector Strategy. Reviewing the purpose of testing and assessments was high on the agenda. Participants agreed the perception of assessments needs to change. The intention is to make the diagnostic aspects of assessments more meaningful in order to drive instructions and not to label students.
It is also significant in that we have the regional standards. The standards are set at a regional level. And so it gives our students opportunities for education to move just straight into a school without having to undergo any other form of assessment.
Minister for Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development met with school principals and district education officers to discuss, among other things, the integration of ICTs in education and the progress that has been made thus far, the strategic positioning of TVET in the education system, and the emerging policy on the use of school funds.
Of course, the principals are also afforded the opportunity to raise any other issues that are of concern to them. Preceding this meeting, I had met with the executive of the National Principals Association, and that's a more intimate meeting where the executive tabled for discussion the concerns of its membership, and I imagine some of the issues will be raised here again.
Well, there are several issues. However, principals have been interested in the topic of the office assistant. There are numerous programs that the ministry is currently implementing, and it is very, very stressful for principals, especially principals of the primary school, to do the regular clinical supervision and all the clerical work in addition to monitoring the new programs.
The Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development has partnered with the Trinidad and Tobago National Center for Persons with Disabilities, NCPD, to help students with special needs on island. The intention is to tailor Trinidad and Tobago's special needs education model to fit in a St. Lucian context.
For some time now, we have been having discussions with the TVET unit because one of the difficulties we have is that for many years, children with special needs have been leaving special schools without any qualification to talk about. But with the advancement of Caribbean vocational qualifications as promoted by the TVET unit, there are opportunities now for students to get certification in various skill areas.
As you know, there's a UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and yes, we all need to be working towards an inclusive society. And in that respect, I'm here to share our experiences and also to learn from St. Lucia as well. It's not a question of a one way, but we're looking at a very collaborative approach to what we do as we move forward.
The crowning jewel for the Babino Secondary School is this beautiful mural. I know Babino is very proud of its mural.
Oh, this one was commissioned by a former teacher, Miss Husbands. Unfortunately, I could not keep her because she was just holding on for somebody. But we have this connection. And with the BUILD students, this grouping, you have the young people, you're building them, in leadership, led by Mr. Delis. They came together to do something which would uplift. And they did the mural on their own, we had help from the artistic director, I think, at the Rosalie Secondary School. And the children, I did not know they had this talent. You see, sometimes they have a lot of hidden talent that we have to come to the fore. And the school has appreciated it. The teachers are motivated. As a matter of fact, they want to do more. And I think it has served not just to enliven the physical environment, but it has done something to the students to say, yes, they're seeing what they do depicted, in art and so on. And so that has helped tremendously.
Well, that is how we come to the end of our program, Top Class. We are certainly happy that you could have joined us in our review of the first term of the academic year 2018-2019. We look forward to our midterm review in the new year. So, on behalf of the entire production team, I am Alisha Ali. Until next time, class dismissed.